Hey, so this is um, an S-Node object. It can be useful in creating a tree for any Salesforce parent-child uh, role structure within Salesforce. I had a small example or small requirement where I needed to figure out where in a role tree a particular role existed, figure out its path going bottom up and then top down. Uh, so I just wrote a nice generic SObject node that can work for any parent-child object structure within Salesforce. So this example is role hierarchy, but it can be used for you have parent-child relationships or opposite parent-child relationships. You can use this with these. The main fields it use are an ID name, which are on all SL objects, and then you also have to pass a parent identifier field. So an example, the parent identifier field is the parent role ID. So I'll show you the example. We're going to walk through code for this. So I have my developer console open. I'm going to open this object so you can see it. So the way it's structured is the S-Node class has a parent node, which is the main node, and its data. So its object attributes, if it was an account, then all the account attributes would be in the data object, and then a list of its children, a list of its child nodes within it, underneath it. You have two constructors. You have the head node constructor, and you also have a child node constructor. Excuse me. You have a function to populate the tree. So you take the list of all objects you want to put in the tree structure, the parent node, and then the field used as the parent role hierarchy field. So what identifies the parent? So in the example that I'm going to do hierarchy, it's the parent role ID. Next, you have a search method, which returns a path to that node within the tree. And this one just does a single node, essentially the actual just node itself, not its children. So when we do the example, you'll see what that means. And then we have another search method, but it returns, once it finds that path, it returns everything underneath that path. So not just the main node point's name, it will return all the children in that path that it found. Then we have this little helper function, reverse path, as our last function, which just takes a single, the result from that single search and just reverses the path. So we go from bottom up to top down, top down to bottom up, top down to bottom, excuse me. So let's see this working. So again, just to put a little more context in this, when I go to a role, our roles in Salesforce, this is my test org. And here you see this huge structure. This is the default structure when you have a dev org they set up. It can be a lot of levels in this structure. Even in a real org, there might even be more. Bad clients that have had hundreds of roles, so the tree can get pretty complicated. So at any time, you might want to know for this Eastern sales team member, who's above me? Who are the players above me? Getting those roles hierarchy really quickly without having to do in SQL a series of repetitive SQLs to figure out what the parent node is. Instead of walking the tree, you can just click the tree once and then use the tree structure as you need it. So in my example, I'm going to figure out what's the path to Eastern sales team. So developer console open, and I have my example set up in my this window. And this is my role hierarchy example. The first thing is I'm going to grab that parent role. And I'm going to try to grab all my other roles, my children roles, and put those in variables. I'm going to set up a parent node, which is going to be the head of my tree. So simple parent node constructor that we're using here. And then I'm going to fill out the tree. I'm going to populate the children by passing those child roles. I'm going to pass the parent, and then I'm going to pass the identifier field that lets me know that this is the parent ID. So in this case, it's the parent role ID. If it was an account, it would be parent account ID. Because then we're going to go ahead and just test this out. So I'm going to create a track, which is going to be a simple SObject node with no semi-function with single points that would hold the path to the node that I want to find. What I'm going to use the search with no children. And this is going to just give me the singular path to that ID I want to find. In this case, this is that Eastern team ID. It's going to print out that path. Which you can see, I'm going to print out that whole track and print out each role name in that direction. And I'm going to reverse the track direction and then print out those names. So let's execute this and see it working. Okay, we're going to just do debug only and boom. So we have that original track with no children within it. And as you see, it did sort of a bottom up here, Eastern sales team. Above that is director, VP North America sales, and then SVP, and then the CEO. And then we did the reverse, which is reversing the order, getting me that top down, and you see the order going in reverse order. So really quick, I used the populate children function to create my tree, and then at any time I can pass one ID and figure out its path going forward and backward, which can be really helpful. So hope you like this function. Feel free to extend upon it. Or if you want me to update something, I'm happy to do that as well. Happy coding.